Hi everyone, this is Kelly Beard of KarmicTools.com, and this is your weekly forecast for July 21st to the 27th. And before I get started, let's just say, eclipses and a Mercury retrograde, how's everybody doing? I have had my fair share of tests. Many of you already know I am an analog girl in a digital world, so I already go through techie issues on a regular basis, but it seems slightly more intense this go-round. So I am just grateful to be getting this forecast to you at the moment. If you're listening to this, I have overcome unbelievable obstacles to get it to you. So let's kick it off with Sunday's first activation is a pretty big deal. Venus opposed Pluto. Classic opposition. Anything with Venus is usually softened, while anything with Pluto is always intensified. And the opposition automatically brings up the push-pull between these two. You are encouraged to tune into your own heart, and then you can trust what is rising from your own depths. Also, any opposition gives you a look back at your starting point, which can reveal something that you may not be giving yourself credit for. Either way, this energy intensifies experiences where relationships and resources are concerned. If you have focused on love to the exclusion of money, then your finances will probably come up at this time for a rebalancing of sorts. If you've been focused on money to the exclusion of family or supportive relationships, then that may be your focus. The bottom line is your true values are up for a certain kind of renewal and purification. What or who is really and truly important to you? How do you spend your resources of time, energy, and money? What or who are your real priorities right now? Often we operate completely unconsciously, which is Pluto's realm, being driven by deeper forces than we fully understand. And periodically, we must allow them to come up and out so we can distill or release them so that they become compost rather than toxic to our system. Since you may feel compulsive in some way, you may as well use that energy to make a deeper commitment to getting to the root or source of any imbalance rather than let it take you away to feed some unidentifiable famine in your life. Often this activation tends to make you uncontrollably drawn to someone you know is probably not good for you. And giving in to such temptations often results in even more problems. It can provoke manipulation, jealousy, guilt, or other negative emotions that always come up when you are trying to maintain something that wasn't meant to be in the first place. Again, don't try to force your will. It can only lead to a broken heart in the end. If you are already in an intense relationship, beware of subconscious impulses, hidden resentments, unexpressed anger, and/or frustration. Expressing it at this time can be helpful if you present your concerns in a constructive way. However, you will have to be personally strong and vigilant in monitoring your own emotions in order to do that. Ultimately, if change needs to happen in your relationship, this can be the catalyst. This energy is only quote-unquote bad if you are unwilling to get to the real root or source of the given conflict. Otherwise, it is like a storm that cleanses and clears the air, making everything grow better. So, Venus, like we said, relationships and resources in an opposition to Pluto. So there was an initiation at some point of new values and priorities, which would have been in February, so about 5 or 6 months ago. So I suggest you kind of think back to that time when any initiations happened in your relationships or resources. That would have been around February 18 and 22, where Venus would have connected with Saturn and then Pluto back to back. And it's big. Everybody's feeling it. No one is exempt. But if you have Cancer, Capricorn, or Aries, Libra activated, it is pretty personal. So right now, this particular opposition is Venus putting the values and priorities on the Cancer side, integrating utter transformation from across the way with Pluto. So essentially we initiate and we go along and we get to the midpoint, and now we can see back at that initial point. And there's more information to be gleaned. So Just recognize what can and cannot work. Check into the power issues going on. Again, relationships and resources will bring up various power concerns and considerations that most of us try to postpone. This is not the time for that. It's time to very much keep it real and face your fears and really ask the hard questions about what supports you when nothing and no one else in the world can really do that for you. That is what Pluto asks us to do, to tap into our true and raw instinctive power, in this case to co-create a reality that's based on what you care about and what you love, and has some semblance of heart guiding the way. So also on the same day we have Mercury, which is definitely in its process backwards, connecting with the Sun, which is part of its new cycle initiating. This energy will compel you to express yourself on many levels. Communication will be a focus. Just make sure that it is reciprocated, meaning two-way communication. You will have access to some powerful energy that can and probably will make quite an impression on others if you need to. This is a good time to travel if possible too. However, if not physically, then mentally and certainly within your own area, because you will take in more information per square inch than usual. So pay attention. You may even gain the much-deserved recognition from others that you have worked so hard for. So I'm going to suggest that this is more of an internal meeting, a council with your own consciousness and awareness of where you are at this time. Do some of your own personal processing of the year. You know, we are still very much at that midpoint as well, and we get to decide how we would like to pull out the next 6 months. So on the 24th, which is Wednesday, Mercury is going to link up with Venus. This is a very powerful connection to co-create with. And this energy encourages you to see the divine order or the unifying theme running through the events of your life at this time. Good, bad, and indifferent, as well as past, present, and future. This is an initiation of new values around communication, self-expression, and the value of your ideas. You may finally be able to express ideas that have been percolating in your head, which is sometimes saying, I love you, or articulating feelings in deeper, more expressive ways. It's really juicy for your inner artist. This is the beginning of expressing your creative ideas in altogether new and different ways than ever before. Allow your imagination to free flow. Play with ideas with no attachment to outcome. Take advantage and explore all that this energy stirs within you, but don't give in to overthinking or overprocessing things. These connections are richer than that, giving you access to deeper personal growth and development through a new understanding of how all the events of your life work together for good, ultimately. You can see the necessity of certain challenges and clearly see your own personal mastery thus far. Celebrate and choose to create some new thought patterns that integrate and reflect more beauty throughout your life. So Mercury and Venus initiating a new cycle, an awareness of your new values and priorities, which basically demands a new routine and support system and rhythm to honor what's trying to come through you at this time. And like I said, with it being retrograde, it actually gives you permission to play with those what-if situations and free flow with your imagination and imagine some new and different outcomes, everyone, because the last activation is actually a pretty good one. Mars trining Jupiter happens on Thursday, July 25th. This energy is generally positive as you are combining your energy and desires with an expansion of consciousness. It's especially good for anything physical and bodes well for outcomes to any competition. You will be channeling more energy than usual, so be sure to check in with your body and stay grounded. Jupiter often brings blessings that others may perceive as luck, but it is more of an alignment between inner and outer. Even if things are hazy or crazy, do your best to visualize success and put yourself in the picture. You will have a great overall perspective of the big picture and can plan accordingly. The only caveat with this energy is to avoid being overly confident where you feel invincible. Be confident but not cocky. This energy is very good for knowing what you need and being capable of making succinct decisions about the course which will get you there. Calculated risks are the name of the game. So, Mars is knowing who you are and what you want. Jupiter brings in the expansion of awareness and opportunities and hopefully some faith and optimism to go with it. And they're in a trine. So it's a powerful activation in fire, Leo to Sagittarius. So embodying your own authentic self is a big part of this, and stepping into a new level of leadership is really the message. What is your unique contribution that has been perhaps in development that is going to be ready by harvest or the end of this year? That's like I said earlier, we're looking for what we want to complete in the next 6 months as we review the last 6 months. So I think I mentioned this last week, especially with all the eclipse energy that we have swirling about, is to really try to take as much time in July, August to time out and process and give yourself a minute to honor these midpoints and oppositions and the push-pull between the old and the new, or the inner and the outer, whatever it may be. We are all integrating some extremes that can be valuable and useful and relevant if we find that balanced center where we can be effective and take it all into consideration and get the good out of what is available. You know, that's always my thing, is to tell you the energies that are supported right now so you're not pushing the river. And we do get these little grace periods here and there, and when there's so much going on, like an eclipse season, which, you know, again, we've discussed, happens twice a year, so it's not exactly new, but this particular stir in the Cancer-Capricorn department affects Aries, Libra directly, and all the rest of the zodiac as well, one way or another. But it's really important that we tend to our fundamentals. Winter, spring, summer, fall is not too much to ask to take a pause for the cause and check in with your life and where things are at. Otherwise, you can just be going along, and not getting the things you really want accomplished, wasting resources on the non-essential. And nobody really has the time or energy for that at this time. We are all connecting to a deeper purpose and a larger vision that we can embody one by one. So I hope that you are taking some time this summer to bank some of the fire, because there is some fiery energy about, and it can be really warming and heartwarming and delicious and creative, inspiring, but it can also be tremendously destructive if we don't have a structure or a foundation that can contain it in a certain way. So I wish you the best as you navigate ease and grace. We are blessed to have the community of support because, like I said, no one's exempt. We all are feeling the changes. And another way that I support you is through the Venus Circle. So I will wrap up here to say our next call is next Tuesday, July 23rd, where we complete 9 months of the release process before we get together for a free introduction to the reclamation side of things, where we spend 9 months reclaiming various aspects of our being and selves and world, and anchor some new things at this new level, something that I think the eclipses and the Mercury retrograde are preparing us for in other ways as well. So it's not a bad idea to check in with Venus herself before she has this council with the Sun coming up August 14th. Is a very powerful initiation, where the emergent self is truly supported to be born and birthed going forward, so that you are embodying your personal power and honoring your inner masculine that knows how to negotiate on your own behalf, hold good boundaries, and get your ideas in the world. So again, with channeling that inspiration in a positive, effective way that can be of service to others is always really useful and welcome. So I encourage you to dig into your well of creativity and pull out your own unique genius to share with the world, because it is time. We need it. All heart-centered offerings are welcome at this time, because that's what we're being asked to do, especially as we enter the month of Leo, is to connect to our hearts and expand there over the next month. So reach out if you need to. Join us in the community next week if you'd like. And have a great week. Thanks for listening. This is Kelly Beard of KarmicTools.com, and I am so grateful for your time, energy, and support. Please share this with those you think would resonate and reach out if and when you need to. Kelly at KarmicTools.com. The goal of my weekly forecast is to alert you to the energies and activations that we're all experiencing and the possibilities for conscious co-creation as an individual. Awareness of the energies is the first key, but I invite you to take it to the next level by checking out my readings, telecircles, and subscriptions, which are all geared toward individual support that helps you understand your own unique blueprint. My specialty is cycles and patterns, and I love helping people figure out their own within the context of the social and collective rhythm. To some, working with their own cycles and patterns is a completely new and foreign concept, but there are many planetary cycles that coincide with natural life cycles that allow us to co-create in mystical as well as practical ways. I create custom tools that I have tried and tested myself for over 30 years, and I do the work alongside my circle every time. So I hope you will reach out if you feel called to dive deeper into your own soul's natural rhythm. Talk to you soon. One love.